We have cross positions, ladies and gentlemen. To the bottom right of Whirlwind, we have in yellow the incredible Miracle player. He's 1-0 in the group, 1 against his teammate Lucira. It is
LGIM first.
His best match of his PvP by far. Something to consider about his play.
It's a 68% win ratio, 21 wins and 10 losses. Starting to the top left is his opponent from the Netherlands in red. It is, of course, the foreign hope in his group.
Grubby.
A lot of fans cheering for him once more here.
Grubby.
He's got to fix his monitor. Go Grubby, a storm is coming. Probably not in this matchup.
Well, good old times, but this time we don't have peons, we have probes.
What?
Huh?
Huh? What?
What was that? You know, do you remember the games that first played against Hero in Toon Valley? He proxied his Robo and went for the 4-gate with his Warp Prism.
The Warp Prism, yeah.
That was something that Hero didn't see, even though Hero went into a StarGate. And StarGate is actually the tech of choice that we are going to see here from Grubby here. That's at least the original idea that he had, going into a StarGate play and then following it up with 3 gateways, trying to see what exactly First is going to do.
You know, that's so interesting because that's so not the Korean way of this map. Usually people just go for Robo Expands or Sentry Expands, and that might throw First off a little bit.
Grubby wasn't really happy about this map. It's just a weird map for PvP, and you know, you don't really know what's gonna happen here. So it was a little bit unsure what exactly would be going on. But the thing about Grubby is that he's always very flexible in his strategy. As I touched on the subject earlier in his first game, so he has this idea of what he wants to do, but he's a player who prepares a lot of strategies and tries them out in practice and sees just what he's more comfortable with. But if he suddenly realizes within the game itself that the strategy that he prepared doesn't really work how he intended it to, then he's always just flexible enough to switch it up a little bit, go into a different style and make that work.
Yeah. And that's what any good pro gamer will be able to do, and Grubby has so much experience. In fact, probably, you know, I don't know First StarCraft 1 history, if he has any at all, but Grubby has played in esports for so long that he really knows what to do and how to transition in all sorts of situations from Warcraft 3 to StarCraft 2. Now he gets the faster scout here, and he will actually be able to see the sentry, which is really important.
2 hits, of course, on the probe, and really nice. The sentry is out just in time to deny scouting. The only thing that First could see with this probe was a glance of the gateway.
Yeah, Grubby scouts later. His Stargate is up, and this is not something that First is going to expect on this map, I feel. He's actually just going to do that sentry expand I talked about off of 1 gate. This is actually so scary against Phoenixes.
You know, Grubby was thinking about what exactly First could do. And
a great block. That was actually huge.
That was definitely really important here. But we have those 2 gates that I talked about. So he's going into 3 gates in addition to his Stargate. And his idea was, okay, I can lead this, I can go into an all-in if he expands. If he doesn't expand and he starts with his own Stargate, then we will probably have a very late game scenario with the Phoenix cancelling each other out. So he has several options of what he can do depending on what First he chooses. But the problem for him definitely being that he doesn't get the scouting information. Yeah. He sees the units on the high ground, that's of course really important, but he doesn't really know that there's a Nexus.
Now the question is, will Grubby use his first Phoenix to scout and show it? Because if he does that, it's a double-sided coin, because first of all, he'll see the Nexus, but then First will be able to prepare for Phoenixes. Because if Grubby knew about the Nexus, he probably would do that attack. It's the best choice, especially a greedy Nexus like this, that fast. He would easily be able to do a 4-gateway attack with Phoenixes and just kill First with no problems whatsoever. But now he doesn't know, like you said. He's gearing up to attack anyways, though. He's adding the forward pylon, and he's adding additional Phoenixes, going up to now his second one.
And with the Phoenixes he can do, of course, so much, especially if First gets more and more sentries now out on the map and doesn't have stalkers to deal with them. He can just lift those sentries, take them down, middle of the map, ring around to the rosy.
Really nice micro by First.
Well done here, and
too bad. But he sees the sentry rune across the map, which is actually really weird, and that's going to indicate to him, uh-oh, something might be happening. Is he going to add another gateway?
He goes for this Immortal now, and he adds the gateway, as you just mentioned, but look at the units now streaming across the map, and Grubby is completely on 1 base. And if you just look at the Harvester count, we have 24 against 30, so a huge lead for First, who's still double producing probes, because he doesn't really know what's going on here. He sees it now with his Observer, and now he, of course, has to make a decision. Is he going back? Is he sacrificing Nexus? He's warping in those Stalkers, he needs them now. He needs Antia.
He actually might even use the probes to fight here because it's a desperate move. Now, the Immortal, he may lift it, but he doesn't have to. He's probably why they go for sentries. That's exactly what he does. He picks off the first one. But so far, the force fields are actually perfect for First. And this is a very zealot-heavy army for Grubby. And First's hold so far is excellent. The Immortal is still alive, and Grubby not getting a lot done here.
Nice force fields here with those sentries shielding them, but his pylon isn't up. He's trying to make something happen with those fuse phoenixes that he has, but the stalkers are too strong. The sentries are still trapped, now trying to move out. Another force fields blocks them, and Grubby is losing a lot here.
Grubby is in so much trouble now. He's got no nexus. He has phoenixes that are low on energy. He's going to try to use those to harass potentially, but First is actually just going to bring a pylon and try to kill him.
Big problem for Grubby was that his pylon wasn't up. If the pylon would have survived, then he could have warped in and straight into the fight. That would have helped him so much. But now, of course, he is way behind. This attack did not work as well as he intended it to.
Yeah, this is actually the last stand for Grubby right now. Potentially losing a Phoenix here.
GG.
You know, I don't want to say that game was coin flippy, but it was definitely First preparing appropriately and Grubby not getting that pylon up. But the pylon up, that battle would have been much, much closer.
Yeah, he tried to go for the strategy and now it didn't work out. Actually, Joya's probably in the booth now talking to him.
Yeah, and you know, I have to say Grubby chose the right idea. When he saw the Nexus, that was the choice that he should have made after the build he chose. He did the right thing, but just not quite able to hit that attack as well as he would have. It's cross positions, that doesn't help. And First got the better build order for sure.
Yeah. One of the things that is important to highlight, again, I talked about it when we went into this group, but I think a lot of viewers tuned in after that, is that Grubby is going to stay in Korea for quite a while. He's going to stay for, I think, another 2 months. And if he loses here, he will still be in Code A. To him, this was a little bit of a test of skill too. He prepared a lot for the up and down groups, but from the beginning he said, I go into this group very relaxed. I want to do well, I prepared a lot, but if I lose here, that's completely fine. He was only in Korea for roughly 10 days now, so he couldn't prepare as much as he wanted. And him staying with the FXO team has definitely helped him to improve, but he knows that he has to still go a long way if he wants to compete in Korea. So that's his aim. He has a long-term plan. It is not only oriented on looking at the short-term results.
Yeah, you can see Choya giving him a massage there on the booth, bottom right.
I didn't have a Choya massage yet. I had a Stella massage, but I did not have a Choya massage.
We should actually order one.
Yeah, I think so. Next time.
I heard they're pretty cheap. I have to say though, you know, just talking about what you were saying to go on that note, this is a great test, and I think that's exactly what Grubby should look at this as, because you know, until you sit and prepare for a Korean tournament in Korea against Koreans who are also preparing for you and the other Koreans in the group, you just don't know what it's like. You can try to prepare as best you can, but now he knows what it's like. We're going into our Zerg versus Zerg here, Symbol versus DRG.
And he's of course not out of it just yet. With 2 losses, we saw a lot of players in the last few days advancing after the situation, but it's of course not really a spot where you want to be in. You need a few wins, and now he's really desperate. He needs a win very soon. If he doesn't win in the next game, then he has no chance of advancing to Good S. He still will have a shot to place 3rd in the group, which would give him of course another attempt in the wildcard group on Friday. But that's not what you want. You want to have the 1st or the 2nd spot and get a direct seat in the Code S.
Yeah.
Right now we have 2 players who are really familiar with Code S and they want to go back. DRG and Symbol, the 2 favorites for this group. Both of them with their win in the 1st round. Who is gonna take the match on Daybreak, our first ZVZ today?
You know, DRG was struggling with his emotions a lot, especially during the time period where we had both the Code S finals and the GSL finals in Busan. DRG really wanted to go to both, was not able to come through for his team in either way. But now every time I see him play in the booth for the past month and a half, there's another shot on the Gold Wizard. Gold Wizard's gonna play it so simple. But the past month and a half, every time I see DRG in the booth, he just looks, I don't want to say bored, but there's like no emotion showing. It's only his good play that you can see.
No. Symbol is now probably going to the bathroom, and we had earlier Hyun arrived, so Hyun is here too, is supporting Symbol a little bit. All of them are now teamless. Ragnarok, Symbol, Hyun, Shine of course also, Center. All of these guys currently without a team, looking for a new team, talking to teams right now, and well, Hyun supporting Symbol here is actually a great gesture. I like this a lot. And TSL was one of the teams that really... That running gag with the family feeling, but the thing is, it's really true. They were more like a family than a team, and it was heartbreaking to see them disband. When I saw the news, I texted both of them immediately, and I was like, guys, I'm so sad, I'm so sorry.
You know, if you've been where we've been and been in that TSL house, that's just like... That family feeling that we talk about, it's not actually a joke, it's actually real. And when you go in that house and you have one of Coach Lee's close friends who's also the cook of the house make you a meal, and you sit and talk to the players and you see how they practice and you look at how clean they keep their desks and how well they talk to each other, they're always trying to help each other out, you see them pointing things out to each other. That's something I've actually, I mean, you can compare that to any team house, but the way it was in the TSL house was actually unique. I've never seen anything that was just like that. I mean, you had a small, close-knit group of players.
You can really tell how much it meant to them just by having the other players here supporting you, the coach still being here and helping you out, bringing you to the matches, even though it's not really his obligation anymore. So they really care for each other.
Yeah.
We also have, of course, team members of MVP here, of Dongregoo here. The team coach is here as well. He has been here every single day of the up and downs because he had to support his players. Of course, he wanted to, but now his former star player. I feel like the ace position went to Sniper with his results, but Dongregoo was always the final boss for the team, came out last in the GSTL, and then he had this, I think you can say, slump that he had for quite a while, where he was really pressured. He had those two heartbreaking losses, one in the GSTL, the other one in Code S, where he couldn't go to Busan. This was his great goal. He wanted to participate either in the Code S finals or in the GSTL finals in his hometown. Yeah. Couldn't do it. Wasn't able to win, even though he was highly favored by everyone. And from that point on, things just went sour. But now he's back, and he is up against probably his strongest opponent today.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I think that DRG has the better ZVZ right now, based on what I've seen from him in the past month and a half or so, where he's been looking pretty dominant, looking pretty strong.
Blizzard Cup. Yeah. When we had DRG against Lenog, these games, we also saw the same in Iron Squid. Iron Squid tournament, which the finals are going to be held at the end of January, which is also going to be pretty epic. That's going to happen in Paris. But yeah, Dongregoo and Lenog, two really strong Zerg players, and both of them experts in the mirror match, in the ZVZ. And you could see just a variety of strategies. We saw 10 pulls with gas into one base play with Banglings. We saw Hatch first, but there was so much that both of them are able to do.
Yeah, I feel like DRG is like, he's the harder player to prepare for versus Symbol. I feel like Symbol plays this matchup a little bit more standard. You know, it's hard to say like what's standard in ZVZ exactly, but he's less aggressive. And even though Dongregoo might actually do something really aggressive as far as economy goes, you just never know. He's a little bit more extreme.
This is actually the map where we saw DRG go for this 10 pool into gas. Yep. That's something we've seen on Daybreak. Usually it's a map that lends itself more to an expansion play, but a very aggressive play on this map is definitely possible. And Symbol struggled against Zergs in Code S. He had to face Life and he had to face Lenog, and he lost against them. Now he's up against DRG, and he's one of those players that really prepares a lot. Grubby spoke about this when he met Symbol at the Home Story Cup, that he immediately got the impression that Symbol is one of those guys who really observes you. He sees what you're doing and he will prepare accordingly. He doesn't forget. He sees something and he stores it in his memory, and as soon as he's going to face you, he will definitely prepare and will remember all these subtle details. So himself being a preparation player, this could lead him to just find the opening that he needs to get the upper hand in the match against DRG.
Both of these players have to play potentially multiple ZVZs since we have 3 Zergs in the group, so that's something to consider as well. Yep. It's not just like the PvP we just saw where you've only got 2 processes, there's only be 1 PvP, so it's a matchup you think about a little bit less.
Well, it's actually...
Did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong?
I love you.
Or did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong?
Well, there's 3 Zerg players, so the Zergs have to play as many ZVZs as they have to play ZVPs.
Well, it's true. I don't mean that it's more. I just mean that it's not going to be the only ZVZ of the day. Seriously.
These up and downs will be remembered as the math up and down.
You're just like trying to make fun of me. I was saying
I know.
They have to play more than one. I'm like, I didn't say anything
wrong. I couldn't resist.
You like made me think I said something wrong, but then I looked like an idiot still. I don't know. Listen.
It's all fine.
I need to install Caldor protection now.
Is that like an antivirus?
Just sitting all these numbers at me all the time. I don't know what's what.
Well, guys, we are ready with the game. The map has loaded, and we are good to go. So get ready for Zerg versus Zerg today on Daybreak. It is Symbol versus DRG at the GSL Up and Downs with Carl and Wolf.